Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Another day, another you, another me, and here I am just trying to get myself organized as we get into today's proceedings, which is going to be a lot of fun, excitement, frivolity, and all of the other fun things that happen. Yes, we are here and we are ready to go. It is currently 22nd of December, Monday. It's been a while since I've done a stream on Monday. Normally I avoid it, but it's the Christmas holidays, so that's what's happening, and we are in a completely weird schedule. I'll be going for around about 4 hours, maybe a little more, but that's basically going to be our today. I got a couple of recorded games I've just downloaded to cast as we get into our day. Might play some ranked, might play some custom games, might play some team games. It might all happen. You never know. For whatever reason right now, things are finally starting to work. Let's go. Am I ready for Christmas? No, but also yes in some ways, and other ways no, and yes. We have, what did I do? I had a Christmas party last night. I have a Christmas party on the 26th. I guess that's after Christmas, and then another Christmas party, or like a band, like a end of year celebration on the 28th. So there's all of these different parties, and then I go to Singapore on the 30th. So there's some excitement. I might have just baited you with that team game. It's not, we're never gonna play a team game. Come on, just get a load of this guy. Alrighty, so let's look into this and see what we're gonna go with. I think I'll go look at this game first because this one looks like a lot of fun. And yes, I think what I want to do here. All right, this is what I want to do. We're gonna do this the right way. We're gonna do this the right way. So, yeah. You need a dedicated Xmas stream. No. Oh, you say Xmas team game stream? Oh, maybe, I don't know. If that's where everybody just donates like their resources to me and we make that sort of a thing, that would be pretty funny. But alas, let's jump into our first game and see what's going to happen here. Hello? You don't want to work? Oh, now, there we go. It's all up. It's all better now. Happy days. Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all people unite here to take a very, very shocking look at the state of Age of Mythology retold right now, because in the top left of the map, playing as the Blue Loki, off the back of his incredible Loki performance in the Champions League Season 4 Grand Finals, it is the Rapple. He is going to be showing everyone what he worked on, how he worked on it, and everything else. His opponent today is none other than the man that pushed him to 7 games and almost prevented him from even having a shot at the Grand Finals, let alone winning the Grand Finals. This guy here in the red color, his name is Mosca. So we got 2 of the literal best players currently playing the game. It's not like the best players is in like a top 100 player is like, that's a best player playing the game, right? Like if you're a top 100, you're pretty bloody good at the game. But this is like literal top 2, top 3, top 4 types here. We're going to have ourselves a very, very fun game. Let's have a little look see at the relics. It is on the map Midgard. This is a map we didn't get to see all too much recently because in the tournament it did not show up, but it is in the ranked ladder. And I do actually like this map a lot when players play interesting gods on it. For example, Loki here is really interesting. Poseidon is also quite interesting there as well, as the Scarab Pendant on the map over there. We've got the Black Lotus over here. Generally don't see all too much farming going on this map, but it is a possibility. Over into the middle, we have the Head of Orpheus, building line of sight +8 there. And finally, at the top of the map, there is the Shenong's Ochre Whip, which is another farming relic. So there's both of the farming relics on this one. So maybe there's some sort of a way to play towards that, but I don't think it's going to be that important. Let's have a little look, see at what Rapple has scouted out. He's come into the main base. He drops down that spy, gets out of there with a couple of arrows in the back, but none hit his knee, so he's able to escape, and he is good to go. Meanwhile, we are seeing the scouting from the hippocampus here. Now, this is the hippocampus, the hippo. I don't know, the hippo. With the hippo over here, just scouting around. The really nice thing This isn't like a huge boost. In fact, it's not a boost at all, but it's just a nicety of playing Poseidon on this map with that scout. Means you're always going to be knowing super early on where to drop your second dock. You can see over here, Mosca, he puts his first dock here. He moves quickly over onto these second fishing spots. If he didn't send his scout over this way, he wouldn't have known that he could go he could go double dock on this side, basically. Of course, over on this side, he could have gone for an A dock, but still, it's still a nice thing. And you can kind of do the same thing by just literally sending your own fishing ships over onto these places nice and early. You don't actually have to have 3 fish on the close spot. You can send them off to a second spot, scouting out and seeing which way to go, which way is the best way for that dock and things like that. But yeah, we'll see how it all goes. We've got a second dock up over here as a second Berserk is also out. I do like these openings. I think it's very smart to get yourself that second Berserk out and going. Reason being is, well, one builder is just not enough here. And it's not been enough for a very, very, very long time in Age of Mythology's history. So this is like super smart from Rappel. He's going to get himself out some Hersa as well. He needs to be very, very careful of early game rushes coming through. As I see a budding Ares aficionado in the chat, I will go out on the limb and say, if there was a map and a matchup for Poseidon to go Ares in, this would be it. Now, the angle here isn't to actually rush out Hypaspist or anything. The angle is literally just to play for those Ares upgrades and basically be playing into infantry more so that you can get the Hypaspist out. You can get the nice strong Toxotes out that you need, and you're not really going for anything super crazy, but you're just not going to be going for that many cav. We are going to be seeing Mosca here, however, going for his Hermes. Now, this isn't a terrible idea either. Only problem is that your opponent playing Loki is going to be having that extra food, which does mean if you do want to go into a whole bunch of Centaur, it's not that hard to just spam a whole bunch of Hersa out and put a stop to it. So we'll see exactly what the plan is there with that favor income from Mosca. It might just be for upgrades. He might just be going Spirited Charge, Lord of Horses, and then also going into like Thracian Horses later. It's been somewhat standard for Poseidon here to go like very, very heavy on the cav on this sort of a map. You can do it with Zeus as well, mind you. But yeah, with Poseidon, it does make a lot of sense. That being said, you are up against Loki, and Loki does have those souped up herdmen, which can make your life very, very sad. Meanwhile, very stock standard moves here from Rappel at the start, getting himself Persin, getting himself Pickaxe. He's got himself Hand Axe already here, and he's going to be dropping a Longhouse. So all of these things, super, super standard. Going to be pumping out those Hersa in the main base over here. There is a market from Mosca. Now, I don't mind this. I think a nice quick heroic age makes a lot of sense here from Mosca. But it does give Rappel some time to make some things happen. He's also going to get himself out of Pentaconta, looking to put some pressure on. One downside, to some degree, of playing Loki here over, say, playing Odin or playing Thor is that you don't have access to Skadi. Now, you do get access to the Long Serpent technology from going through Bragi here, which can make your archer ships a little bit stronger, but not having that really strong freezing technology with Skadi does hurt a little bit, but Pentaconta is going to be searching around here, looking for just little bits of pressure, forcing out some boats here. Do see the longboats as well as heroic fleet on the way. The fact of the matter here is, though, that the Pentaconta is quite fast, so wherever this longboat comes out, it's only got 5.5 speed, so you can simply just run. Run, sail away, row away. You can simply just row away with this bad boy if need be. Meanwhile, over onto this side, however, we are seeing a couple of Hersa causing some problems. There's a military academy going to be coming through, and Mosca is not prepared for this in the slightest. There's a lot of idle time. He didn't have his walls up. That's a lot of units in here. Dionysus is halfway on the way. He does have himself some straggler trees underneath his main base, so that could be enough. He can pop over onto the other side of the Townsend, no problems here, as Rappel is looking for a maximum amount of value for the moment. Up onto the top there, the storehouse going to be coming down as a stable and military academy coming in, but Mosca might have to just drop ceasefire here. He doesn't get access to Curse. Because he is... Because he... Wait, Curse does have... He does have Curse with Poseidon, but he's not going for that... he's not going for that Aphrodite. He's not going to have any defensive god powers here. This bronze he's going to get is a very specific... very specific god power. As the houses are coming up, the defensive buildings all over the place. And what... Now, Moska can do, which is actually really, really interesting, is he can actually go for some Prodromus here. He doesn't have to go for Hippias. Save on the gold, get the strong Prodromus out. Great answer for the cavalry. And then also get yourself the Hypaspis out. And then maybe also some Peltast. So you're going into pure counter units here with the idea that you're going to be trying to just get yourself a really strong army off that 1,300 gold that's left in your main base. Meanwhile, on the other side, more longboats are coming in because of the threat of these Skylar and all that other good stuff, as a second Skylar, or Hydra, I should say, is on the way now for Mosca, and Bragi will be coming through as well. Now, Ceasefire isn't a hard counter to Flaming Weapons, but it does stop the fight, and if the units are really far out of position, then they can just chase them down and still get a little bit of value after all is said and done. But Mosca now says he's got a pretty strong army. He's not wrong. Hypaspis really, really good versus those infantry units. Going to be able to take out some houses here, maybe open up a move over onto this gold mine. The game plan for Mosca here should be to be playing this somewhat slowly. You want to play it slowly in the sense that if we can just survive and get onto a second gold mine and not die to this Flaming Weapons timing, then we're in a really good position to try and force, say, a Mythic Age, like force a late game type ordeal here. Great turn from Rapple. He sees an opportunity here to take out a couple of units as the Paspist going down on the back here, and Mosca going to have to pull back into his main base for the time being, but he has opened up this top position and killed off an armory, which is not nothing. Still haven't seen any of those much needed Prodromus. Now one is coming through, and the reason why these are so good, especially as Poseidon, but also versus a 4-city user, is that only 6 speed. Now one might even be enough to win all this. These are incredibly powerful, those Prodromi. Nonetheless, onto the front here, however, the army is coming through, and those Hydra are getting smacked in onto as the Paspist need to get the damage in, but as they're chasing those Hydra away, the Hypaspis have to chase, and the Hersa have got the speed advantage here. Up onto the top, however, a battle ball going down. I am somewhat surprised to see Hydra getting built at this stage, but I mean, he's got the answers. So long as he can micro somewhat well here. Throwing the Hydra away on the front, not ideal. So many resources there. And nonetheless, he does come through, pushes back for the time being. Rapple has just got himself such an overwhelming advantage in terms of military. Yes, Mosca's macro, not the best here. He could potentially have himself an extra 1,000 resources in terms of archers, as well as maybe some extra stuff elsewhere. But even if he'd done that, it's still somewhat of an advantage for Rapple. So Mosca does need to figure that out. And one thing that Mosca does have going for himself here is he's got the armory advantage, which is quite big, as heavy infantry and heavy cavalry are going to be on the way. The villagers will slowly move up here, but with Ceasefire on the cards, Rapple probably not going to be wanting to click Flaming Weapons anytime soon. Should note that there is a little bit of stuff happening over here. Did he grab that serpent? Long serpent? No. But we do see the Krakens coming through, causing some problems over onto this side as well. Problems getting caused. Lots and lots of chaos here on the side of Mosca areas. Mosca's now looking to roam around here. He does have the speed advantage. He's got that 6.9 speed Prodromus. He's got the 6.3 speed Hippias. So there is a speed advantage. He can run around and just cause problems, and basically Rapple can't deal with this. But obviously he's not going to be able to get, like, Mosca's not going to be able to get any damage done, but Rapple can't really stop him running around like this. So that's a big thing. As a hill fort coming up onto the left side, something that Mosca would very, very much love to be able to do is just plant that fortress on this gold mine over here. The units here spotting a couple of stray Hippias as they do manage to get away with their lives. It'll be a long time for them to heal back up, though, down to like 15 HP, as the Kraken mass just causing so much damage over here. Do I have the myth unit multiplier, heroic fleet in for the trireme, but like you need around about 3 trireme to take out 1 myth unit. Is the basic differential where that's concerned. There's a couple more houses to come up. Now remember, there is still bronze on the cards, so if Mosca needs to click ceasefire, it's not the end of the world. He's going to be able to fight back. The only issue is he doesn't have access to restoration, which is a really big counter to hell. Now you ask me, why is restoration a counter to hell, or specifically a counter to the Nidhogg? The reason is that you get yourself a ball of archers plus your heroes. The Nidhogg flies in thinking it's going to be able to roast the backline of archers, and you click restoration, the archers do not die, and they actually are able to get damage dealt back onto the Nidhogg for the entirety of that 5 seconds, and the Nidhogg needs to get out of there. But that's obviously not an option here, as you do have a cheeky little lure getting dropped down at 13 minutes. I love a heroic age lure. You don't get to see that all too often. It does take a long time to pull the hunt in, but it's actually quite nice, the amount of chickens you get and all the other good stuff, as Mosca now has managed to get himself an army that looks incredibly terrifying here, but he might be feeling like he needs to do a little bit more than he actually does need to do here. Charging forward over onto that side. Realistically, fortress, town center, and continue to play slow has to be the angle here for Mosca. Rappel will be in front here, but he's not going to be able to end the game, especially if he can grab, say, this gold mine in the middle. In fact, that's the game plan here. As a 4 gold mine mid guard, we're actually looking to take as many winning trades as we possibly can here, because gold is going to run out. In fact, economically speaking, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm behind on income. What matters is I have my gold mines. That is the most important thing, but it's looking like Mosca's army is a little worse for wear here as the flaming weapons gets dropped. Ceasefire comes down. You can see there's a differential there about 13 seconds, so there will be a little bit more damage to come through after the fact. But bronze is still going to be on the cards. And Rappel, I mean, he's got somewhat of an economic advantage, I guess, from all the idle time on these fishing ships and whatnot. Life has been a little bit tricky. One thing that Mosca is definitely missing here is it's his peltas, basically. He's missing those peltas, and without those, well, how's he going to kill off those thrown axemen? Yeah, you've got Hippias, but just get a couple of peltas. At least have like 5 peltas out is my take. You don't even have to have them upgraded. They're so good at taking out the thrown axemen. Nonetheless, Mosca is looking like he is getting caught out of position by just a little bit, as well as the favor gain from Rappel is starting to pick up here. He's up to 110 favor. Hasn't really spent it on anything here. Clearly wanting to save for hell and potentially making himself... I have to guess he wants fire giants. You can go for frost giants. You can go for like mountain giants as well, but generally fire giants makes the most sense, as these Kraken still causing so many issues here. You're almost like kicking yourself for not going Aphrodite in this one, just so you can get the Argo out. And it's an absolute answer for all of these Kraken. Of course, you've also got the access to the Skylers as well, if you want to be making those. But Mosca, he has to kind of save up for another ceasefire here in a way, as the Herdmen come down, grabbing himself another town center. I think it's a little bit of a mistake from Rappel, because he has managed to get himself quite a bit of an advantage. If he just slaps a hill fort down on this top gold mine, and then he squeezes, he doesn't need that 3rd town center for population or anything here. He just needs buildings up and locking off these positions and mining those resources out as fast as he possibly can. But nonetheless, the thrown axemen making their way up onto this side as the red army to come back through here. And the big difference right now is going to be hell on the way, boiling oil coming through. And the villagers for Mosca do make their way up onto this side. Now, one way to play around Nidhogg is basically by hugging your fortresses. Whenever the Nidhogg comes through, you're going to garrison the villages, garrison the army, and you just keep on putting up more fortresses. Getting to the Mythic Age most of the time is not really that important. We actually do see those Peltats now getting mixed in, which I love for Moscow, but he definitely needs a fortress up yesterday. Like, if Rappel sees this, of which he doesn't, but if Rappel sees this, then the Nidhogg will go straight on top of that. All the villagers will be dead, and I know I'm saying that the economy doesn't matter that much, but losing all those villages does indeed matter. As Mosca trying to break through, he's still got bronze. He's not clicking that bronze down. As the Nidhogg comes through, bronze does get dropped down, but now this is going to be area of effect damage all over onto this, and it doesn't matter. That bronze, I mean, sure, the Nidhogg isn't actually doing any divine damage, but the bronze is just so useless versus all of that area of effect damage, and Mosca loses everything on that fight and taps out as Rappel manages to convert the game, convert the situation, and all the other good stuff there. With some incredibly powerful Loki on this map. I think Mosca, he didn't, I don't think he had quite the right idea here. I think you do want to play a very, very defensive game, map control game. And so long as you can go 50-50 on the gold mines and not be losing units, it doesn't really matter if your opponent gets to 2 TC before you here. It's like, it's almost flipped in terms of, like, if you're playing a land map, Norse versus Greek, the Greek player being up a town center for a couple minutes generally is over. You can kind of overcome it by going for a later-ish town center from the Norse. But on the water maps, I feel like it's flipped just on the fact that, like, the percent difference on income is so much less because you got all that fishing economy. So what matters actually more than getting super far in front on economy is actually just getting your gold mines sorted out, defending the power spikes that Norse has got, and playing for those sorts of situations here. That's the Greek game plan to some degree. Of course, hitting some nice raids here and there would have been really nice, but Rappel, very, very beautiful positioning on the majority of his economy. Moscow really couldn't find anything with that. He did have the speedy Hippias and things like that. But in reality, I think this fight here was just a very, very tough one to take and win. Just pull back, get the fortresses up, maybe even go for this top town center, or give it away. It doesn't matter. You can siege it down with some Petropoli. It's not a big problem, and win the long game, so to speak. But a well played game here from Rappel. If you guys enjoyed it, make sure you hit the follow button. If you're on the YouTubes, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys in the next game. How's everyone going? What's happening? Hey, Mr. Destructor, what's good? What do you think about Aphrodite getting a tech similar to Temple of Healing? I feel like you're stuck with Cav and Dionysus since it's the only way to get units healing. The whole thing is flipped on its head with Japan, but the idea of Greek is that their units are so valuable that healing breaks it. Whereas, say with Egyptian, you're healing like an Anubite. That's not that much. You're healing a spearman. That's not that much. You're healing a hoplite or a hydra or a Nemean lion or a cyclops. Like, that's a lot of value. That's the idea, at least in my brain. But what tech would you change from Aphrodite? I think they're all really good. I guess you could change Divine Blood or something for some regen on, like, all units. Could work. If you could heal Centaur, would be super OP. In the in the classical age, if you could heal Centaur, it would be super OP. In the heroic age, I don't think it matters as much. Like, obviously, you can go Hermes into Apollo and you can heal it, and it's obviously not like crazy. You opened the game yesterday. What's the deal with the Aztec stuff? Okay, so there is a thing called an expansion pass that will bring with it the Demeter god, which is a fourth god for Greek, like Freya. And it's going to come with the Aztecs somewhere in the middle of the year. They didn't really say. They have like a date range on it. So obviously not set in stone just yet. And then it also comes with two like cosmetic pack type deals. There's a blood and bones pack and a kind of like skin-esque thing where some statues turn to gold or something like that. So it seems like a pretty good deal, to be honest. I mean, if they deliver as well as they delivered the Japanese, then I think it'll be a good deal. If I pre-ordered the expansion pack, I get everything for free. That's just how it. No, I haven't pre-ordered it yet. I've been really busy, guys. I have another game to cast. Would you guys want to? Should we play a game, or should I? We can see if someone wants to play me, and if they don't, the expansion is discounted until the first thing drops. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I think it should be good. I don't see why it wouldn't be good. Like, it'll be funny on release, and then they'll have to like make some changes, and it'll be good. How do I think the Aztecs will generate favor? However they generate favor. See, the thing, here's the thing with favor. Okay, so if we go through all the different types, everything costs some resources basically, except for China. And I think that's important. I think that was a mistake with China. I think that the way that China was to increase their favor income, they could have done what they did, but they should have like said, it's not buildings that expand. It's like a flag you stick in the map that'll expand out how much you get. Sort of like a building similar to like oracles, right? Something like that would have been kind of an interesting way to go about it. Or like some walls or something, like making a great wall of China or something. Anyways, not to go into it anymore. But however they do it, I think it needs to come with some cost. So whether you're sacrificing a unit that you have to build, or you can sacrifice any unit you build, or yeah, I don't know. And then I guess on top of that, it needs to have some sort of like time, like that it takes to get that favor in. So for example, if I go and sacrifice a unit, if this is how it's going to work, this is what I assume, because this is what we got. Blood and bones packs coming. They're no longer being PG about the whole thing. I would assume you send a unit, whatever the unit is, you send it to like the temple. That unit sits on the temple for like the next minute or something while the favor from that unit trickles in. Something like that. And then the way to kind of min-max it would be to send your low HP units back to die. And there's just like no way to heal your Aztec units. That would be like the interesting kind of way to go about it. Or maybe there is some sort of healing. I don't know. But something like that. Looks like we don't have anyone wanting to play me. What we could do is we can cast this next game. It's a pretty big banger of a game. All right. What is going on, everyone? My name's Boit, and I am back with some more Age of Mythology, the herding simulator. Wait. We can do it like this, right? Yes. Off we go. Straight into the town center. And we're just going to hang out here, and we're going to hang out here, and we're going to hang out. Okay, never mind. In the left-hand corner of the map, playing as the blue Hades. His name is Pegasus. And in the bottom of the map, playing as the red Loki. His name is Boit. And we're on the map Elysium. So a nice open map here for the Loki to try and make some things work. Lots of players have been saying that Loki is one of the lower sort of power gods at the moment. So I'm pretty interested to see how this game's going to go, especially because this is a matchup that I think a lot of people were saying was pretty, like, good for Norse. Like, Norse versus Greek in general is quite good for a while. So we'll see how Boit is going to be approaching it. He is up against Pegasus, who, while he doesn't really play any serious S-tier tournaments anymore, when he did play them, actually, let me see if I can get his results up. He played the early retold tournaments. He was very serious there. He was loser bracket round 4 in Genesis, which I believe was top 5 from memory. I think top 5. And also I think he did quite well in Red Bull Woololo as well. But yeah, like top 5 or top 6 type vibes. So super solid player, and he's up against Boit, who I don't really know. I don't really know how well he's done in the tournaments so far. Maybe I can have a maybe I can see. Let me have a quick look if Boit's name pops up here. No, it doesn't. So I'm not sure. I think he might have done okay in the qualifiers or something for Champions League, but yeah, that's where we're at. Anyways, let's check out the relics and see what's going to happen. Got the Dart Scepter over here, making farms cheaper. So actually a really big relic for Hades, because a lot of this matchup is going to be like the Hades player not wanting to leave their base, and building some cheaper farms is really nice. 25% off might not seem like a big deal, but every farm you put down puts you behind. So the less cost puts you less behind. Your opponent will have to put farms down at some point as well, and that's where you get your advantage. Anyways, we got the Black Lotus here as well. Man, you gotta love it when the relics... Is there also going to be the Shenong's relic as well? But yeah, another 10% over there. So if Pegasus can grab both of those, he's going to be incredibly happy. Got the Bridle of Pegasus here, which is an amazing relic for the Loki to help out with early game scouting and just scouting in general. Up on the top of the map here, we've got the Feather of Bafang, which is going to be a little bit of a bonus against buildings, as Pegasus says it's time for some Ares action. We were talking about Ares in our last casted game, so now we actually get to see it. Of course, this is with Hades now, and Hades does have a really big advantage over Poseidon in terms of what you get out of Ares, and that's just in the fact that the HP on a slow unit is worth a little more than the speed on a slow unit, whereas the speed is worth a lot more on a fast unit than the HP would be worth on the fast unit. So for example, both the Hades player and the Poseidon player get access to, say, the Chimera or the Nemean Lion, and I would say that both of those are a little bit stronger for Poseidon, whereas the Cyclops and the Colossus are like a little stronger for the Hades. So there's that. Nonetheless, a couple of archery ranges coming down, 3 archery ranges coming down here. So this is actually going to be a lot of myth units out for Pegasus, it looks like. So lots of Toxotes to kick things off, and some Cyclops. So we're back into the Cyclops action, as onto the other side here for Boit. He is going to have to figure this one out. This is really tough to play against. This is really tough to play against. The reason why is your Herser get picked off by the Toxotes, and then the Cyclops, they take out everything else. And you need the Herser to clean them up. And one thing that Loki doesn't get is he doesn't get access to Freya, which you would want in this matchup, I would expect most of the time. But we'll see if Bachi is going to be able to get through it or not, as we also have Enyo's Bow of Horror to come through, which is another gigantic boost to the Toxote. There was a long time there where people were like, what does this like extra movement speed even really mean for the Toxote? Well, it's not quite ballistics, but it's effectively your opponent's not going to be able to dodge those arrows very much at all, because the arrows fly through the air so quickly that dodging them is going to be nigh impossible. Also, once ballistics does come through, when the heroic gauge comes in, then yeah, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare to make any potential dodges happen. As Bachi gets a big scout in and goes, okay, what do I need here to break through all of this? He is on the front food here as well, which I like. Getting out on the map nice and quick here. There is some weaknesses, obviously, as he can get raided. But for the moment, Pegasus, he hasn't scouted. He doesn't know where or what the enemy army is. This is really dangerous. And at this timing as well, oftentimes you can get absolutely deleted on this type of an attack, as Bachi has effectively surrounded this position. Comes through with this one raiding cavalry as the Toxotes do turn. Snipe that one before the fight even begins, as the Cyclops pulls in, throws the raiding cavalry straight back down. But as soon as that one lands, he's back in onto the fight. Great control from Bachi. Takes out the Cyclops, takes out the Toxotes, and a gigantic advantage now accumulated for Bachi in this game. So effectively now, there's going to be some shades to come help out for the front line for these Toxotes, but yeah, Pegasus he's lost a lot here, and he's losing more units in the middle of the map. I'd love to see him try and take out the Achilles there as well, as these Toxotes shoot and scoot. They've got that tower there as well they can just garrison into, so no problems where that's concerned. Is a little bit too much of firepower there from Pegasus, and Bachi will need to pull back. As he pulls back with a couple of low HP units, the raiding cavalry go, let me in here. Let me get these kills. Gets one Toxote. Going to go after some more here, as well as the Achilles does turn around. One more raiding cavalry going down, as this is somewhat of a numbers advantage there for Pegasus, and Bachi will have to pull back. Now, Pegasus sometimes does fall victim to just going very heavily in onto one unit comp. If his unit comp he wants is going to be the Cyclops and the Toxotes, that's all he's going to really make. Or in this case, it's basically just Toxotes. But I definitely think he should be considering mixing in some hoplites here for a nice little bit of a front line. There's the armory coming down for Bachi. And Bachi now going to be searching up to the top side for somewhat of a raid. But you can see, like, this is like, if you want a lesson on how to build an Age of Mythology base, like Age of Mythology base building 101, a screenshot of this would come up. Building, like, houses up, military buildings like this. So beautiful. As the Bachi army coming through. Now, he does have eyes in the forest, so he sees a lot of the map as the army of Toxotes coming back in here, and the surround is yet again back in onto this spot, as Pegasus is going to try and shoot and scoop. We've got that Ironry in as well, which is going to be a huge boost here, as yet again the army of Pegasus is going to be getting absolutely deleted here. And you have to start asking yourself the question, what is Pegasus thinking? As he finally goes, all right, I will drop some military academies, but Bachi he has an overwhelming advantage here. In fact, one way forward for him would be to just grab himself this tech and grab a whole bunch of trolls, or if he's feeling very confident, just get heroic age now and then go into a whole bunch of battle boars, like wall up the gold mine, then go heroic age, and then grab like everyone on gold, and then you just buy yourself like 5 battle balls straight away, and you are in a overwhelmingly advantageous position. There's a couple more houses coming down into this main base of Boit, and we'll see what Pegasus is going to cook up now after the disastrous early game. You can see he's effectively as turtled as you possibly could be as these raiding cavalry are trying to sneak through around onto this side. It will get spotted by Pegasus. There is this house that has been started, as these villagers almost all need to come around and join in on preventing the cab from getting in here. But this might be somewhat of a bait as Pegasus tries to get the ghost building down, not able to do so. House gets deleted over here to try and get the rest of those Toxotes through as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it die? It does. No? 1 HP in a dream? 5 villagers down. Troll spawn comes in. Raiding cavalry are out of there. And Bragi is now clicked up. Boit has just absolutely dominated this position, this game, in every single way, shape, or form for this early game. He's on the forward gold mine, though. He doesn't really have an answer for hoplites in his army. No throw an axeman just yet. But I don't know how much it's going to matter here. Because realistically, he could just run. Like, no need to stay on the gold mine. Like, you can move over here, let your heroic age come in, take yourself a much nicer fight when you spend all these resources, and you're good to go. I mean, obviously, just move over onto this gold mine is a completely valid, smart idea. So that's where he's going to be going for. But Pegasus, he has been trying to get value from the start of this game to the end of this game from some incredibly aggressive army movements. Now getting himself that Phobos' Spear of Panic, which is a huge upgrade for those hoplites. As the Cav coming up to the top side of the map, will he spot those villagers moving out here or not is the big question. He's got the raiding cavalry onto the back line of units here as well. Gets a couple of Toxotes before he will have to bail on this position. Unfortunately for him, he doesn't see the villagers over here as he does decide, let's turn around. But the thing that he's missing here, and this is, I feel like this is going to be a classic Norse mistake at this point. I'm going to have to start calling it out. You've got 85 favor in the bank. You've got an amazing myth unit in the battle ball. We don't need to get upgrades here. We just need to fill population with these bad boys, and then you will be in a much, much better position. Get the upgrades later. It's not a problem. You'll be in a much, much better position with 0 favor in the bank and all the battle balls built than anything else. But he is getting the battle ball out nonetheless. That being said, there is Apollo coming. And Boit, while he is in front, he needs to ensure that he continues taking good fights. Flaming weapons could be enough here to win this fight. But he needs to be over here with his army. He's charging forward with half of his army here. Does spot those units and says, all right, let's pull back. He's behind on population a little bit. Wolves making their way forward over here as well as the Pegasus does spot this position. There is going to be a potential underworld coming. But this is